Oh yeah, and don't worry, I'm gonna fuck up the intro like 3 or 4 times. It happens every
That's
time.
alright.
Ah. Hello, and welcome to Challenger Chats. Today, my guest is one of the admins of the blah 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 blah. Hello, and welcome to Challenger Chats. Today, here with me is one of the most... Fuck! Every time! Hello, and welcome to Challenger Chats. Today, here with me is one of the most well-known Balrogs in our Discord, and probably even better known as an admin over at the Balrog Discord, Raz. I hope
Hey
I
there.
said that name right.
It's actually Ross.
Raz. Ah, so
Yeah.
close. Especially
enough.
since it's even closer to like the German pronunciation. Ah,
Yeah,
should have
it's a
gotten.
Germanic name.
So how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing quite well actually. How about you?
Ah, sweating because it's way too hot at the moment. Way too hot. Okay, let's just straight up jump in so this doesn't take too long. How did you
Good.
get into Street Fighter?
Well, I've always been a fan of fighting games casually,
Hmm.
mostly just Tekken and Mortal Kombat, and then I got into sort of serious gaming through League of Legends, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and then mm, mostly through just like uh, chance, I stumbled upon competitive Street Fighter play on YouTube, and I thought that was pretty interesting, and I liked fighting games, so I decided to give it a shot.
Oh damn, you just straight up went for it.
Yeah, well, of course, there was a bit of a casual period. Like, I bought it on my PS3 first, so
Hmm.
I just sort of sat there playing arcade
Which
mode
Street
for a
Fighter?
while. Oh, that was actually since it was like in late 2013, maybe early 2014. So that must have been
Street Fighter 4.
A 2012.
Oh, yeah, right. Wasn't even Ultra yet. Ah,
Yeah.
yeah, because I'm pretty new, you know. I started with Ultra.
Oh, I see.
um, well, how long was your casual period? Like roughly.
Um, well, maybe 1 or 2 months. I was immediately aware of like competitive play,
Hmm.
but well, it was still kind of casual. Like I just did combos and bots. That was my pastime.
But that's actually pretty impressive, you know, that you just straight up went like, well, I guess I want to play this like really competitively. That's not the spirit most people go into a fighting game, you know. They go, oh, let's just try this and try to learn this first. They don't think about actually participating into tournaments immediately and stuff like that. So heads up, that's pretty cool. So and then you started playing serious after a few months. So I ask this the other people in the interview too. What was like your biggest struggle of learning Street Fighter?
Well, honestly, once I got past like the looking up moves and guides on Event Hub's
Mm.
stage, um, well, I never really bothered with many tutorials or whatnot, because like I'm used to the control scheme of fighting games,
Mm.
and like uh, doing combos and stuff it was probably already a thing I was doing up to that point, maybe in Mortal Kombat 9. I'm not sure though. I can't quite like put a time
Yeah.
constraint on it. So basically, it was just well, really, it was just about like picking the characters I like and getting to play with people online and sort of developing slowly. I started off by joining the Reddit Newbie Fight Club back when it was still the Reddit Street Fighter 4 Newbie Fight Club.
Oh yeah.
So the original Steam group, sort of.
Mm. I heard about that
Yeah,
in the beginning.
I went through a bunch of characters at first. Like
Mm.
I was never much of a loyalist in 4 compared to SF5, but I still sort of settled on El Fuerte in the end.
El
And
Fuerte. Oh.
that was sort of good because at my skill level, El Fuerte was like really effective,
Mm.
especially since I spent like actual hundreds of hours in training mode just practicing combos, so had really good execution for the character,
Yeah, that makes
which
sense.
makes him really hard to deal with because besides blocking mix-ups, you have to deal with like run cancels and other not
Stupid
obvious stuff.
bullshit.
So it's kind of like Balrog, except not actually good, just as confusing.
No,
Uh,
I find Balrog way less confusing than El Fuerte.
well, I suppose different strokes here.
Yeah.
Uh, but the problem with that was that, well, I never really got a lot during the SF4 days, especially
Mm.
since I was very young during that period. That was what, if that was like 4 years ago, I must have been 14, maybe 15.
Oh
So
yeah.
that's not the kind of person,
It's gonna go to
you
tournaments.
want in voice chats and stuff.
Oh.
Well, so like I sort of hung around with the newbie club mostly, and
Mm.
I like mostly just spent my time beating them up. So I never really improved that much because, well, I was also playing like on Wi-Fi in Russia, which it's like a good connection to Europe more or less, but still like most people don't really want to play you, and I wasn't able to set up a wired connection at that time. So that's why I spent a lot of time in training mode as well.
Oh yeah.
But basically, what this boils down to is that uh, I sort of kind of stagnated. Like I got to around 2,500 or 3,000 points in Arcade Edition 2012,
Mm.
and then when Ultra came out and the points reset, I never really bothered to play that much again.
Yeah.
And well, yeah, even though like I got into it non-casually, I wouldn't say I got into it competitively. I just like I just wanted to like play the actual game, like uh, and not be a scrub. And I sort of succeeded in that, but then I stuck around at the intermediate level until the very end of four.
Oh. Was that like after Street Fighter V was announced, or was that
Um,
before?
that's a very good question. I'm pretty sure at the time Street Fighter V was announced, I
Mm.
was maybe sort of wrapping up with Street Fighter because of school and stuff.
Mm.
And so I spent like the first maybe I spent like a whole year not really playing Street Fighter that much. So I skipped the beta and the start of Street Fighter 5.
Oh yeah.
And I kind of didn't really even keep track of that. And then when I did end up buying the game, it didn't run that well on my laptop, and I had issues with my fight stick, so I delayed it by another couple months. And by the time I picked it up again, Balrog was already out.
Mm.
So after like less than a day of walking around the cast, I was just like, I want to play this character.
You
And that's
just straight
basically
up
it.
got into it.
Yeah, that's basically how I got started with like competitive Street Fighter, I would say.
I mean, that's pretty lucky that like Balrog was basically released around the time where you started. Just like, oh, this
Yeah.
character looks fun. Good timing.
Well, maybe if he was released sooner, I would have started playing sooner, but who knows?
Oh yeah, DLC characters bring a lot of new players into the game. Or that's at
Yeah.
least how I feel, especially like Urien.
Oh,
Um,
definitely.
wait, what did I want to ask next? This is so professional. Um, ah
I
shit,
started
what's the...
playing in what? Well, I started playing four and competitive fighting games in general in 2013. Well, basically 2014, let's say.
Oh, I'm like thinking about Street Fighter 5 at the moment.
And for five, I can tell you the exact day I started playing the game because that's the day I
Oh,
bought the DLC, and that would be, um, let me see, the 3rd of August, I suppose,
damn,
2016.
that's pretty late. You already made quite the name of for yourself in that short time. Because you're like relatively well known. Like at least in the new Challenger Discord, you are basically the guy where people go to if they want any advice on Balrog. And over at the Street Fighter Discord, you're pretty well known. Wait, here's like one question that I personally already always had. Right? Why do I
Yeah.
always think you are NA?
Well, because I mean, I spent a whole year in North America, so I would be an A.
Oh, that makes sense. That makes way more sense. Why did you spend a year in North America?
I'm currently an international student in Canada,
Hmm.
and I'm only really back in Russia because I'm taking a break for the summer this year, not taking any additional courses. Um, but yeah, I spent the whole year basically most of my Street Fighter V career was in North America, in Canada.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Ah, That's also very funny because it's like cold country to cold country.
Yeah, well, that's one of the reasons, sort of.
It's like
I
one of the reasons.
chose Canada.
Didn't want to go to Mexico, Texas.
Yeah, screw that. I
It's
don't
way
want to
too
die.
warm.
I would burn up.
So did you like actually was your I don't know where you exactly went. Did you went to like a university in Canada or more of like a normal school? Like
Yeah,
high
going
school?
to university over there.
Ah, university. Was that like anywhere near any actual locals?
Yeah, yeah, so I go to university, I suppose went and do go to university in Mississauga, which is a town like about 40, 50 minutes of bus ride from Toronto.
Hmm.
And there is a pretty prominent local in Toronto, which I'd like to shout out for, well, contributing quite a lot to my betterment.
Oh.
Although I did start visiting, I did start visiting it pretty much after season one.
Hmm.
So I hit diamond and 15,000 points towards the end of season one.
Hmm.
And I went there once. And then I went to Russia for New Year's.
Yeah.
And when I came back, it was already season two, I'm pretty sure. And then I basically started going there more often, like every week.
Oh. Getting in there,
Um,
making a name for yourself, hopefully.
Yeah.
And did you do
Fir-
well?
Yeah, well, the first time I went there in season one, when Borog wasn't like this powerhouse, and
Hmm.
I sort of just played very nervously, but I think I went maybe 3-2 or 2-2. I lost to some person who wasn't like a very well-known player over
Hmm.
there in like round one. And then I did the typical losers bracket run against a couple people like I got to know or already knew up to that point from online and stuff.
Hmm.
And then I ran into like one of the three strongest players at the local, and he demolished me basically. And yeah, that was my first run there.
Man, that was a pretty good run, man. You're skipping the entire you have to go 4-0 first. 0-4 first. Because that's the most important part, man. In tournaments, you first need to
Yeah.
learn to go 0-4. But you just go in there and sweep it till you meet one of
Oh
the
wow.
top three players there.
The first big tournament I went to was Canada Cup.
Hmm.
At which point I was just a platinum player, so like I didn't really know like anything at all about the game. And well, I still went like 3-2.
Hmm.
Because there was actually it was a pretty like sad sort of bracket because I beat the first three people I played pretty convincingly, and then I ran into a Chun-Li player at the time, obviously Borog, sort of mid-tier, Chun-Li, top tier,
Mm.
and it was one of the best. Well, I would say it's a really good like general fighting game player. Like it's a guy well known in Toronto for Marvel and stuff, but he's also a great SF5 player. And I barely lost to him in winners bracket, and then he played against Shanghai,
Ooh.
and then he lost and went to losers bracket and knocked me out. So basically, I just lost to the same guy twice in a row.
It's frustrating. Oh, that was not
It was
the
very
infiltration style
frustrating.
comeback.
Yeah, and what's really interesting about that, honestly, is that well, one of the most important parts of like being improving in SF5, I think, is playing in tournaments, even online. Because if there's a regular player which you can't beat, like a good player, it's really good to set them as a benchmark to sort of overcome, to become like a better player yourself. So what happened was I ran into this person online a month or so later, and I noticed they were playing the exact same way as at Canada Cup. And I think I dropped a set to them 2-1 maybe, and then I beat them like 4 games in a row, I think. We got matched up like a whole bunch. And like to me that was like a big point. I was like, okay, well this person like whooped my ass at Canada Cup. Can I swear?
Yeah, no, it's totally fine.
Okay, sure. Yeah, this person like whooped me at Canada Cup, and I just
That's not even swearing
like
though.
I beat them, and I was like, well, like that's great. Or if you take a look at the East Coast weeklies, which by the way I'm pretty sure I won literally like 8 weeks in a row before I left.
I mean,
In season one,
I
yeah,
would have to check, you know. I don't watch them sadly, because it's like the middle of
yeah,
the night for me.
of course. Yeah, well, so the point is, yeah, when I started going to those, I was still like silver, so they contributed like a huge part to my improvement.
Hmm.
And basically, what that means is, yeah, there was a player who I'm probably going to sort of not mention their actual name. There was a player that was winning a lot of those weeklies.
A
They
lot.
were Diamond at the time, High Diamond, which was, in season one, in the
Yeah, yeah,
beginning
that
of
was
season
pretty
one.
impressive.
That was very impressive. That was like top 600 maybe players.
Hmm.
And that person was winning all those tournaments, and then I came in there. And the first time I played him, I it was the first time I played on stream in that tournament.
Oh.
So, I didn't do that poorly, but still it was like, okay, so this person like beat me. And then I was like, well, I want to beat them. So then I started playing in these tournaments every week. And I kept running into that person. And the first time I won that tournament, I'm pretty sure I played that person in round one, and I lost to them 1-2. And then I played them in losers bracket in maybe a losers finals or losers semis,
Hmm.
and I beat them 2-0. And I was just like, yes, I
That
am
must
now
feel good.
complete.
And then you won the
Yes.
tournament.
And then I won the tournament
Yeah,
for
that
the
makes
first
sense,
time.
because that gives a
That
huge
felt good.
boost, you know, beating the rival.
Yeah.
It's 50% a mental game, so during the time where you got really into competitive and into improving a lot, what was like your technique, or like how do you approach training for Street Fighter?
Okay, well, I've written quite a number of posts like on this
Hmm.
in Reddit, like comments mostly. I don't know, like, and well, it comes down to this: if you want, like, I'm just gonna explain, if you don't mind. I'm just gonna explain how I learned Street Fighter 5 and Balrog,
No, that's totally fine. Go
right?
ahead.
So, first off, basically I looked at some videos of professional play, and
Hmm.
I saw people playing Balrog. I was like, I'm going to play this character. So that, because I like Balrog in SF4, but I was like, obviously I was not a Footsies player, judging by my choice of main, so I wasn't very good at Balrog.
Dude, no one
So
believes
then,
that. Like, by the way, small interruption, sorry, but no one
yeah,
believes that Balrog is actually like a pretty footsie heavy character. Every time I say that, I
well,
get laughed at.
because to be honest, you can win with Balrog without playing Footsies, and most SF5 players are not very good at Footsies because they're difficult in this game. You
Yeah.
can't react to buttons as well, and buttons are in general stubbier. So
Hmm.
then most people kind of forgo that, and because a lot of people forgo that, you often get matches at lower ranks and even like somewhere up to platinum where both people are not really just playing Footsies. And whenever I run into Balrogs online, which is another favorite thing of mine. The Balrog mirror,
Hmm.
wonderful matchup, my favorite matchup in the game. But I just feel like this sort of righteous fury when I play mirrors online, because these people are playing my character.
Yeah.
They're not playing a character, they're playing my character, and they're doing it wrong. So I make it a point to beat them to illustrate that, well, they're doing it wrong. Because if you look at how Balrog players play, even in like Ultra Platinum, I see
Hmm.
these people in Diamond even. They're just like, what's footsies? I'm going to dash cancel from full screen away and hope you can't react because it's online.
Yeah.
Like, that's how they play. So of course the impression is that Balrog is not a footsie character.
Yeah, that makes sense. I can get behind that, and I fall into that. I mean, I'm only a humble, lowly gold player. Um, but I fall into this trap a lot too, where I'm just like, I just want to win at some point, and then I just go, well, it's online, I can just do rush punches. EX rush punch, I'm positive, now it's my turn, fuck it. But I tried this, I tried that offline, and I got punished hard for that shit. Like, really hard. It's not funny even. Well, anyway, you were talking about how you learned Balrog. You watch pro players and...
Right. So I watched some the things you get out of watching pro players play. The
Hmm.
most important BNB, obviously, because one thing that's gonna show up in every round of every match is their main combo that they do, which would be,
Yeah, well, now I
smoking
like. I kind of
combo.
want to
Yeah.
guess. Wait. I kind of want to guess
Yeah.
which is Balrog's BNB. I only know like the first two I learned was crouching heavy punch into heavy uppercut because I started season 2, but I'm not sure that
Right.
was a thing season 1. And the other one I know is standing heavy kick, crouching medium punch into rush punch or sweep.
Yeah. Well, the main Balrog BNB is the 2-bar V trigger combo. Right?
Oh.
Because it doesn't require that much. It's a fun combo. It does like 400 damage, which is actually not that practical. But if you're like bronze, like it's a good
Yeah,
option.
no, it's really good.
Yeah, so it's basically a guaranteed 400 damage. So you just save up 2 bars in V trigger. You do stomping combo. It
And,
hits,
yeah.
let's say, and then you do crouch fierce, heavy upper, and the 2-bar juggle with like EX low and stuff.
Yeah.
So that was like one of the first things that I learned about Balrog. I was like, okay, so to win, I play this game like with dash punches or whatever, and I anti-air. And then when I have V trigger, I do that combo, and they die. And that is how I got through like up to silver. That was enough to rank me up to silver.
That is how I
do
got
rush
gold.
punches. Yeah. Well, it was like a long while back, so points inflation and stuff would probably
Yeah.
count for that pretty accurately, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like, okay, so I'm watching them play. Okay, they do rush punches, they V-skill through fireballs, they anti-air, and they do that combo. Those are the 4 things that you can like just see from watching people play like right away.
Mm.
And you're like, okay, this is what I do. This is what I need to do to win. So after that, I was introduced probably by the Reddit front page to Mr. Brian F's setup videos.
Oh yeah,
Which-
those are huge.
The first one I watched was probably the one about meteors after the stand medium kick target combo.
Mm.
And I was like, okay, this is great. So now, besides the win condition that I play the game and I land the combo, I also have the win condition that I land the smaller combo, and then I get a meaty setup off of it. And then I can get another combo off of that and keep that going. And so that's now another way I can win besides just the one combo, which I don't always get.
Yeah.
So that was another step. So then I watched those videos, and I spent each time before playing every day, I spent like 10, 20 minutes just practicing those meaty setups.
Mm.
Then I also down the line watched, I was still like silver at that point. I think I was already in North America at that point. I watched his video on Balrog's V-trigger resets.
Oh
And
yeah.
that was basically when I sort of like watching that video instantly made me outgrow everyone in like the sort of newbie puddle, because like, as soon as I have V trigger and 2 bars or 1 bar, the game like ends in 2 combos
That makes sense.
in one touch. Like that is probably still to this day like less skilled players' impression of Balrog. You get touched once, like you actually die.
It is. Definitely.
So after that, after meaty setups, after learning my BNB, my game plan, my meaty setups, and my mix-ups of a V-trigger and V-skill, that was probably enough to get me up to like super ultra gold. I just kept playing ranked and
Getting those LP.
playing tournaments.
Mm.
And at that point, I probably, let me see, what's next? What would be next? It's just sort of mashup knowledge and experience. Like, what kind of resets do people fall for the most? Like, what kind of stuff? When I learned the more advanced Balrog V-trigger game, like, oh, instead of like doing V-skill punch into low, I can just do empty V-skill into low. Like, that was a huge revelation to me back then. Like, that I actually do have a high low of a V-trigger. Even though it's not real, people sort of respect it, so it's okay.
Yeah, yeah.
And after learning that, that was probably enough to put me somewhere in platinum.
So just bit
And-
by bit,
Yeah.
that's basically the perfect way to learn a character. You learn a little bit, and then a little bit more, and then a little bit more.
And
Just
you
gotta
keep
practice.
playing. Yeah.
yeah, keep
So
playing is probably the most important part, actually.
it's like you build a very rudimentary, like you build a sort of skeleton, and then you pack the meat on, so to speak. You
Mm,
are like, this is my game plan, this is my anti-air, and this is my kill combo. That's all you need to start playing a character.
mm.
Then you get meaty setups. Then you get like advanced stuff like mix-ups.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like, and of course, like just sort of what people respect, what people don't respect, what kind of pressure you can do. Yeah, that sort of stuff like was enough to get me into platinum back in the day when that was like not very easy to
When
get
that was
still.
something.
Yeah, well, yeah, to me it was definitely something.
Yeah.
It was the first time I hit a platinum rank in like any game I played. Like,
Dude, it would be amazing for me too. I'm like, I still gotta make my way to diamond, to diamond too, but to platinum, I still gotta go there.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Of course, I always like my sort of development initially was probably besides like all those like goalposts, like beat that player or like win that tournament. It was like just I want to get to diamond. Like at some point in my life, I want to get to diamond in Street Fighter 5. Like that was my goal.
I mean, you managed to. You are diamond now.
Yeah, I managed to get to diamond in season 1. I was extremely happy with myself, very impressed. Used that opportunity to shitpost Reddit. Don't regret it to this day.
I mean, the question
Some
now is
people-
your next goal
yeah.
actually master, or are you just gonna focus on tournament wins, certain people, stuff like that?
Well, I'm currently mostly playing online. I've actually picked up streaming recently.
Mm.
So
I saw.
yeah, I'm grinding away at master. Wait, but what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, and the very last step, because like up to platinum and in platinum, you need other people's advice to like get better,
Mm.
and you play better players to get better.
Yeah.
And then when I got to platinum, I sort of like I flew up to maybe super platinum because well, if you're like if you're sort of if you know what you're doing, a platinum to super platinum is probably the easiest rank jump in the game
Really?
because you get matched up with diamond plus people, like almost like you get matched up with platinums, which all of them give you at least like a good amount of points.
Mm.
You barely get matched up with like lower ranked people. Sometimes like gold, but whatever. And you get matched up like when you're like in gold, you get matched up with like the 2 adjacent ranks, maybe like the 4 adjacent ranks, right? When you're in platinum, you get matched up with like ultra and super gold, but you also get matched up with all the platinums, all the diamonds, and master.
Oh, that's mad points if you win.
Yeah, if you lose 1 to 2, you still get points. Like it's literally the easiest time you will have in ranked if you're like not instantly stagnating as soon as you get to platinum.
Yeah, you can't chill too long on a rank. That's like what I always do. It's always my mistake. I get gold and then I'm like, yeah, now I just don't want to play ranked anymore. Fuck it. And then I just sit down and practice so much that it would become technically easy to get platinum.
Oh yeah, it's very important. Like that's a very important thing to talk about. Whenever I would like get a new rank, like whenever I moved from silver to gold, from gold to platinum, I would take maybe a week or less than a week's break from ranked, because my goal, it was basically like sort of just to take a break and sort of kind of like a little
enjoying the
how
moment.
should I say? Yeah, I would say so. Sort of what's the word I would use here? Sort of little selfish, because I wanted to join the next weekly tournament, like showing off my newly achieved rank.
I know, that makes total sense, yeah.
Right? And it's like that also makes you go in with a sense of confidence that you're like leveled up, and obviously you can intimidate some opponents better. And it's like, yeah, that's important. To take breaks and to play in weekly tournaments is a big sort of part of like improving step by step. And so, well, to Let me
Actually,
see. Oh
like
yeah,
one
yeah,
second before you like go on. Actually, I find it really, really, really nice that you always bring up how important it is to participate in every tournament possible. Because I'm by this point, I'm just autopiloting. I see a tournament. I got time for this tournament. I'm just gonna sign up. If it's online, I'm like signed up for a local next month, stuff like that, right? I'm
yeah.
like already in autopilot, but I see so many people who just pass on tournament experience because they don't want to lose or because they think they are going to lose like 0-4. But it doesn't really matter. Even if you go 0-4, tournament experience is still tournament experience. Like, I think people should always go to every tournament they can go to. Always.
Yeah, well, it's yeah. Honestly, I just always want to make sure that people like new people play in tournaments because it helps expand the community. It helps them gauge their own skill from time
Mm.
to time, from week to week, and it helps sort of like set an adequate goalpost for what they want to achieve.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you lose because like most people, let's be honest, everyone but one person that goes to a tournament loses. So,
Yeah.
if you're afraid of losing, like that's kind of redundant because you have such a small chance of winning any given tournament. Like, if tournament has 31 people including you, you have a 1 in 31, like just on average chance of winning it. So like, just join it.
Yeah,
Just
and
play.
there's like a really interesting question that just popped into my head. I think
Yeah.
some people are just afraid of going 0-4. I think they feel like if they get a little bit further in the tournament, that it wouldn't feel so bad to lose. But I can tell out of experience that that is bullshit. If you get into top 8, you are mad at yourself for not getting top 4 or in the grand
Yeah.
finals. It's just you always could have gone a step further. So it's always gonna suck to lose.
Yeah, well, mm, hold on.
What, you want to bash on my mentality that losing doesn't feel bad generally? It doesn't after a while.
Yeah, okay, what I wanted to say was, hold on, it's really hard to keep train of thought. Playing
Go for it.
Balrog reduces the amount of brain cells, clearly, because he's such a strong character. No skill. That's another thing we'll probably end up talking about eventually, but right now, let's focus on the main thing.
Mm.
Losing in tournaments happens to everyone but one person at any given tournament, so it's okay. You need to join them to improve. Like it's honestly almost mandatory, and it's the same advice. I totally forgot about this. It's the same advice I give to people who have ranked anxiety.
Mm. So that it's
cares?
just mandatory to play ranked and you just have to do it and
Like-
it's gonna become less scary probably.
Unless you are like ultra diamond or master,
Mm.
or unless you are like punk, nobody cares about what you go in tournament or what points you have. Nobody, like not even really you should care, except like to get better. So just do it because like oh my god, like I don't want to play in tournament because I'm like I'll go 0-2 and I'll be embarrassed. Like don't be embarrassed because literally nobody cares. Just play. It's for yourself.
You heard it here from Raz himself. Nobody cares about your score. Nobody. But I care about my score.
Yeah, well then do better. Next
Do
time.
better next time. That's
There
actually
will be
really
no
nice.
score to care about if you don't play.
Actually, fuck my next question. What you just brought up was way more interesting. The old Balrog no skill discussion. I mean, I myself as a Balrog player get a lot of shaming in the Discord, but I'm okay with that. I know he's top tier, but he's fun to play, so I don't care.
Well, people will just be rude. Honestly, my response to people who say Balrog is like an auto-win character is pick him and win, idiot. And my response to people who just say like Balrog is like, like super strong. Okay, like I've heard that 10,000 times. How about instead of whining about how strong Balrog is, which he is, he's not overpowered, but he's like, one of the best characters in the game. Yes. Well, like adapt, like when people say adapt, they're like, meme, adapt, but actually, do you want to win or like not? If you want to win, then it doesn't matter if a character is busted or if it's a horrible matchup. You have to learn to play against them one way or another.
Yeah, makes sense. It's like I have huge problems with like this is one of my worst matchups, Balrog versus Fang.
Yeah.
Cause I have problems dealing with his small poison cloud that he has, that he puts on the floor, right? Cause
Hmm.
generally, I guess you wanna use jab to hit him over it because he's minus afterwards. But I always fuck that up, and every other button gets hit by it. And I was actually at like points where I just got so mad about losing that matchup that I was shortly, like I was so short before saying that I think this matchup is broken. But it's actually just not. I'm just getting frustrated, and because I'm getting frustrated, I don't really see what kills me. I only see the shit that annoys me afterwards, where I'm like, oh shit, I can't deal with this. But that is not what killed me. I think a lot of people get really mad about rush punches on lower level
Good.
because they feel like that's what kills them, but it's not actually what kills them in the end. You know, like blocking, for instance, the double medium kick target combo and stuff like that,
Yeah.
because that's like an easy punish, right? If they would have blocked that, everything would have been fine, probably.
Yeah. Well, like that's another big problem. Obviously, like less experienced players have. Oh yeah. On a sort of related note, just
Hmm.
I do want to point out that the Fang matchup is a bad one for Balrog.
Is
According
it
to
really?
Yeah, according to Pierre Balrog, it's 6-4 in Fang's favor.
Yeah, I wouldn't say much, but
And
it's like it feels a bit awkward for me.
just like to elaborate so people don't like um, misunderstand, there is a very simple explanation for this. Like Balrog loses to Rashid and Kami, right? And they're not grapplers, so it's not like the Balrog loses to grapplers rule.
Hmm.
It's that he really doesn't have like any good defensive options against characters who just walk you down with buttons and like dick throws.
Oh yeah.
So basically, your it's exactly the same with Fang. Like besides the fact that footsies like are hard because I can't beat his zoning the same way I beat everyone else's zoning.
Hmm.
Like because of Poison Cloud mostly.
Yeah, yeah.
But what that sort of ends up as is that since Fang is a really, really strong pressure character, and um, because of the way Balrog's buttons and tools work, basically he has a very hard time interrupting Fang's pressure.
That is
Like,
so. I wasn't completely mad. I'm like, you won't believe how happy this makes me hearing this from you, because I felt like an idiot every time. I'm like, what fucking button do I use to get out of this? Every button feels like I'm hitting some poison cloud or something else. You know what I mean? Ah, but that's actually really interesting. I didn't know Pierre Barrock thought this was a bad matchup. I mean, that's not going to stop me from actually being mad at myself for losing, but yeah, because I don't care much for matchups. Or for matchup
well,
ratings.
yeah, of course, yeah. It's honestly just like Fang is one of those matchups like that actively like it makes me furious sort of at the player when I play it. Like it's never like, oh, like Fang is a like really stupid character. Like I feel that way about some like matchups. Obviously, everyone has characters they hate. Like when I play against Fang,
Hmm.
I'm mad at the player. Like it's like against Ken. Like it's not Ken or Fang being stupid. It's the guy like playing him. Like I'm just imagining this like sort of mandrill or chimpanzee holding a fight stick.
But Fang is pretty hard.
You say that, but what exactly? Oh, okay, okay. Let me elaborate. Fang only has a few like things that actively make him worse than other characters,
Hmm. Those are.
and the thing is mostly that he just has really bad matchups. But the matchups that are good for him, he doesn't really need to put in like that much effort. Like I don't want to like say that much because I'm not a Fang player or anything.
Hmm.
But and I don't really want to offend anyone with like going on about like balance or design or whatnot. But basically, it's just like, um, yeah, like for example in the Balrog matchup, I don't know what other good matchups Fang has, like Dhalsim maybe for example. Like
Hmm.
you really don't need to put in that much effort because like you're looping sort of mix up pressure, you can just do that. Like Borog's not
Mm.
going to really interrupt you.
Well, he can get a jab once in a while, but that's about it, I guess.
Yeah. Well, no, that's the problem. He can't get a jab in. He has to commit to like a much.
Really? I thought
He
you
has
can
to-
get a jab over the poison cloud.
Yes, you can, but then what?
Well, that's the end. Then Fang starts again, probably, unless you can
Yeah.
actually react to that and get an EX straight or something afterwards. And even if he blocks that, if you EX straight afterwards, then well, you land in the poison cloud. There goes your EX bar. Ah, that's brutal. I mean, V reversal is still an option, right? Oh shit, I hate that matchup too so much. Jesus Christ. But you were talking about matchups you personally actually hate. What are some matchups that you just hate with Balrog besides Fang?
Okay, in season 1, and like older Balrog players might remember, season 1, Zangief and Mika were Balrog's worst matchups.
Mika,
And
I can
our
get behind.
Mika, I still like. I don't want to say like I absolutely 100% genuinely believe that, but like the pure agony that matchup made me feel for in season 1, for how much effort I have to put in versus how much effort they have to put in. I honestly think that matchup bordered for 7-3 in Mika's favor.
Ooh, damn.
Like, it's worse than anything Balrog has in season 2.
But Mika was really fucking strong in season 1.
Yes,
So
and Balrog was already weak to grapplers. Zangief was like low mid in season 1. Some people like said that he was like even bottom 5, and like he still beat Balrog because he was a grappler and because he had flex and jab. But the thing is, yeah, Mika was a grappler and a mix-up like pressure character, and outside of that, just outside of that fact that already makes her hard for Balrog, she was really, really strong. So it made fighting against her, well, like miserable.
miserable. Yeah, that's what I would describe it. And season 2 Mika? You still think that's the case or a little bit less?
It's a bad match. It's kind of a bad matchup for Balrog. I still think, but it's absolutely like winnable. Like when in season 1, Mika players, I'll admit it, were the only people I didn't give runbacks on win or loss in ranked because like it's for Balrog, it's literally like a weighted coin flip where you have like a set 20% chance of winning unless you are like severely better than your opponent.
Yeah, it doesn't help that your view reversal is so shit when you play against Mika.
Yeah, like you just bend over. So yeah, sort of like basically moving on from that to the matchups question in season 2. We can just go over what bad matchups Balrog has and like how I deal with them. Generally, like sort of mentally, I wouldn't say.
I'm like looking at the time. It's already pretty long, but I'm totally fine with that because I have personal interest in this, so we can gladly go through his bad matchups. And let me just get out something to write here.
Right. I'll be brief. I'll be brief. I promise.
Okay.
So, let's go. Who is Balrog weak to?
Well, grapplers, obviously, that we had just now.
Yes. We have Laura, Geef, Mika, and Birdie. Balrog right now has the best matchup probably against Birdie because
Whoever gets the knockdown first wins.
yeah, but Birdie's meaty setups aren't real, and Balrog's are. In season 2.1, when Birdie gets frame 1 armor, aka a real reversal, it's gonna be in Birdie's favor. But for now, it's pretty much 5-5. We have Mika. I'm not gonna go over numbers because that's like
No, that's like
super
more in depth.
subjective. Yeah, I'm just gonna say like honestly, Mika, I feel like bad matchup, definitely winnable in season 2 compared to season 1, like easy peasy. You just need to like play patient, with punish, guess right, then start your pressure and like don't drop meaties. That's all you need to do against Mika.
Don't
like,
drop
turnaround
meaties.
punch, season 2 turnaround punch made this matchup tons better. And -1 crouching fierce as Mika as well. So next up we have who? Let's say like Laura. Arguably Balrog's worst matchup right now. It's horrible. I hate Laura players. I hate Laura.
I play Laura.
It's like it's honestly like horrifying. It's like sticking your hand in like a beehive every time. No. You know what? It's not as much as it's painful, as much as it's extremely stressful. Because, well, like if you get touched once, you're pretty much going to regret it for the rest of the round. Because you're losing like 40% or 80% or all of your life trying to get out.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal.
Yeah, if you knock Laura down, since you don't have a command grab, you have to guess back rise or quick rise. If you guess wrong, she's gonna wake up standing medium kick, V-trigger, and then you guess and lose, or don't.
Yeah.
So you basically have to do to her what people think Borog always does to everyone. You have to like be like, okay, so I blocked a -2 move from you in neutral. I'm going to pressure you for the rest of the game, make you guess, and like kill you.
Gotta keep on point in that matchup. Do a mistake, you're fucked.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to reversal and use option select. Like I could honestly do a whole video about defending against Laura, but that particular thing is getting nerfed and that matchup is getting better. So
and there's already a video for that.
Yeah, well, it's like particularly Borog has. Yeah, there's a very great video someone did at the start of season 1 about defending against Laura's mix-ups, particularly Meaty Elbow and whatnot. And yeah, I recommend everyone to like just go watch it still. But yeah, Borog has his own ways of dealing with it, like using option selects and just awareness and stuff. So you can make the matchup less painful, but it's still very stressful because like you take preemptive measures instead of taking like active measures, but still if you mess those up, then you still like have to pay. Yeah. So like moving on from that, Zangief. Season 1, second worst matchup for Borog, absolutely stressful, hated it. So I grinded hundreds of games for that particular matchup. And then I made Gief players hate that matchup. Well, one Canadian Zangief player who shall remain.
The poor Gief player, regretting to have helped you.
Yes. Well, yeah, so in Season 2, I don't have much trouble with it because I've already learned. My one big piece of advice is Zangief is very scary. But he also doesn't have a 3-frame jab, which means most of your meaty setups work on both of his wake-ups, which means what you actually need to do instead of playing keep away, Borog's buttons are stubby and Zangief's are very long. So instead of playing keep away and like just zoning, which, if you throw a dash punch and he flexes, you die. Instead of doing that, just rush him down. Like he whiffs the fierce, whiff punish him, push him into the corner and just throw him over and over until he dies. Like, it's that simple. Because most Gief players, they're like, oh, Borog is scared of me. I can do whatever. And then they're like, oh my god, he's rushing me down. What can I do about this? Borog is so strong.
Now that's a really good tip. That's how I usually deal with Giefs.
Yeah. So...
I think this were all, right?
Those are the grapplers, yeah. I just want to make special note of a couple other matchups. The non-grappler but rush down, tick throw, sort of no high-low pressure characters, being Cammy, Rashid, and Fang, and also kind of Karin. PR Borog at the beginning of Season 2 said Karin Borog is 5-5. This would be because while Karin gives Borog tremendous pressure, she has 900 health, and her crouching medium kick is not very good in footsies against him. So he can do some stuff against her. But I honestly have been sort of really struggling with that matchup against better players. So I'm not sure how good or bad it is. And besides, nobody's sure how good Karin is, what with how Punk has been doing lately.
Yeah.
Right? So to sort of, and she's basically like Cammy without a dive kick, but more damage and better normals, so it's still pretty much Cammy.
Yeah. Pretty similar playstyles.
About Cammy, it's just Brian F always talks about that matchup. It's not the worst ever in Season 2, because you're Borog, you can deal with other characters even if they give you trouble. In Season 1 it was horrible. In Season 2, basically it just comes down to the fact that if you make one mistake in neutral or while doing meaty setups and you get knocked down, you're gonna have to defend for the next like solid 15 seconds, and if you tech and they shimmy, like you are so boned. So yeah, that matchup requires a lot of patience, and again, is very stressful. Like Balrog's bad matchups, they're not necessarily the most like skill intensive. They just need you to remain like absolutely calm, because you understand perfectly that since you have like no good defensive options, if you get knocked down, you're just gonna be like, oh, please don't hit me.
Well,
for the
your
next...
best defensive option as
Yeah.
Balrog is to make good decisions. I mean,
Yeah,
you don't have anything to get out for free sometimes.
the best defense is a good offense.
Yeah, that makes
That's
sense.
all it is. Same goes for Rashid. Against Rashid, if you play footsies and you outplay him, knock him down, and beat the crap out of him, you win. If he does V-trigger in neutral and you're charging, you can punish on reaction from 2/3 of the screen away. Like, if you're a Rashid player and you're listening to this, do not do V-trigger like just in neutral against Balrog, because he can just rush punch, and your V-trigger has like a 14-frame startup. You get knocked out of that.
I didn't even know
Like-
that, by the way. That's nice.
Yeah, that's the thing Brian F showed me. So that leaves us with what? With Fang.
Yeah, with Fang.
Same as Cammy, except neutral is harder. You don't have a win neutral option. You have a rush him down, like make him regret leaving option. Because in neutral, you get boned. On defense, you get seriously boned. But on offense, he gets seriously boned. So what you have to do is you have to just like play like an actual ape, get in, and then like beat him up.
Play like you play Laura.
Yeah. Play like you play like Laura or Rashid. Like don't like get off of your opponent, off of Fang once you get on him. That's the Balrog advice. So that covers all the bad matchups, I think, right? Yeah, probably.
That was pretty much everything. I didn't know that so many matchups were actually considered bad or extremely stressful, let's say it that way. But you brought something up earlier in like a small break we had, and that was that you probably would like to talk about Tab.
Right.
The one move I never use, ever, because I'm retarded. I need to bring that into my game plan.
I mean, honestly, I have like a lot of things to say about that. First of all, it's one of my favorite. Ever since Season 2 came out, it has been one of my favorite special moves in Street Fighter history. Particularly Street Fighter 5 Tap. I can also kind of say, sort of a bit self-aggrandizingly, that I was one of the people sort of, because you know, like there was a wave of like complaining about Tap. Then people started releasing option selects and tech and stuff, and people stopped complaining about Tap as much because it was mostly the active or the pro players complaining, and they had misconceptions that could be cleared up. But then well, I, along with like, you know, actual like famous streamers like Smog and Pierre Rog and Brian, well, not really Brian, started like posting clips of clips started going around of me like doing, and them of course, more importantly, doing very high level turnaround punches on streamers.
I mean, you are well known for your tap ability.
Yeah. I honestly did that thing in tournament once. I basically got $70 for hitting a dude with level 7 turnaround punch repeatedly because he let me turtle in grand finals. That was the best day of like history. But yeah, the thing is, what that did is it actually got like more casual players to turn their eye to turnaround punch, and that is the second wave of complaining. One that can't be dispelled with clearing up misconceptions and giving option selects, because like it's cool to hate Tap now. Like that's the thing.
It's also just a really good move.
It is a great move. Like absolutely, no matter how much tech you post against it, it is one of Balrog's stronger tools. But like it has ways of dealing with it. And then people complain about all the wrong things, like about Final Tap. Like, oh my god, it's a move that deals... Like, have you seen that clip of MKT Iwate doing like a Final Tap on a Korean player?
No, I haven't seen that.
Okay, so it's a clip that's been going around a little bit. It's sort of settled down, like last week maybe. Two master rank players, a very long round. Iwata is just turtling, getting like boned by this master rank Korean player. Then the Korean whiffs a standing medium kick from full screen. Iwata lets go of tap, and the Korean presses another one. They trade. Korean takes like 500 damage. Iwata does another tap, a V-trigger activation.
Oh, I saw that, yeah!
Right?
Someone did the stupid video with the Bad Raiders song in the background.
Yeah, that was actually hilarious. Like, I was about to be really mad because someone reposted that, and then I was like, oh, this isn't a repost. This is actually hilarious. I love
that
this.
is really funny.
Yeah, but like people are like, oh my god, that's unfair. The Korean, like, I saw the comments on that Reddit thread. The Korean player like spent the whole match winning, and then Iwata just came back with no effort.
What
And I'm
does
like-
that mean with no effort? You played with like 2 buttons less for the entire match.
Yes, exactly. The Korean player was winning so heavily because Iwata was playing with 4 buttons
Yeah.
on a character who has to play with all of his buttons. And what do you mean like low effort? You know, letting go of tap, sure, low effort. 26 frame startup move in neutral with not fully invincible startup. Good luck landing that, which he did.
It is gonna have completely invincible
And then,
startup now, right?
and then he reacted to the trade and did the trade combo. So, like, you know, he was ready for that. How is that low effort?
It's just people complaining. I guess you
Okay,
can't really say
yeah.
anything. Like, I mean,
I
that
just
is pretty
wanna-
obvious.
I just want to get out this message. Like, you know, turnaround punch, very strong move.
Very strong.
You know, feel free to complain about it. Just, like, complain about the like, actual strong aspects of the move. And, like...
And not about how easy it is.
Not about final tap. And like, you know, still like the same thing I said like maybe 40 minutes ago, which is you can complain, but you should also adapt. You shouldn't just do like you shouldn't just whine, because if you just
Yeah.
whine, you lose, and then you're a sore loser.
Oh, yeah,
And
that makes sense.
if you whine, but you also secretly adapt, and then you beat my ass because I do too many turnaround punches, and you still say, you know what, you suck, you use turnaround punch, that move is busted. You may be a bitch, but you won. That's the more
But
important
you won,
part.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's also like if you if you're sitting in lobby with someone and you complain about their use of tab, you know, that would also be a really good opportunity to maybe ask them what to do against this.
Right. If you say, like, you know, the only thing that complaining really, like, inhibits you in is that, you know, if you complain to me while asking me how to deal with that move, I'm not going to be very inclined to help you. But if you're just like, well, like, that move gives me a lot of trouble, like, it really upsets me, how do I deal with it? Like, I'll help you, sure, like, what problems do you have, in which situations can you not deal with it well? Like, you just have to, like, find like a proper approach to learning how to deal with it.
Yeah, makes
Yeah.
total sense. Okay, but oh man, I could talk about like matchups and stuff all day with you, but I gotta move this along. So let's get to the
Right.
few last questions I actually have for you.
Of course.
So what do you think of Street Fighter at the moment, and what would you like wish for its future if you could have one selfish wish?
Okay, unpopular opinion. Street Fighter V is an amazing game.
That's not unpopular. I love Street Fighter V. Just
and,
not cool to admit it.
Yeah, it's not cool to admit, but you know, we all play this game, which means we all like it, more or less. Then, because like, you know, you can't say, oh, I just play it for the money, because most people, let's be honest, most people don't play it for the money. They're
Yeah.
not good enough. They just play it because they like it, even if they complain about it. But, like, you know, I can't say it's perfect, because if you look at Ultra Street Fighter 4, a game which I think is one of the best fighting games in like fighting game history.
Love Ultra Street
game
Fighter so
took-
much.
That game took how many years? Like 7.5, like 8 years
Yeah, roughly.
to become what it is. Like, you know, it takes a while to develop a game, and people loved it and played it all along the way, which means that while they did love it, they weren't just like, okay, this game is perfect, leave it as is. So I want to see what like new mechanics and what like, because like, you know, you can look at the game and be like, well, I feel like it's stagnating and I can't like, because like if you look at it, what mechanics could Capcom possibly introduce, like, to make the to make the game like more interesting?
Second V trigger.
Well, you would think that, but like, there's always arguments and stuff. But the point is, you would probably say the same thing. Not everyone's like creatively endowed, so you would probably say the same thing if you were like an A 2012. But then they made Red Focus, and they made like these new characters, and
it's gonna come. It's just gonna improve over time, right?
Capcom, like they just know how to make the game and how to keep the game moving. So I don't really want to suggest much in the ways of changing Street Fighter, because Capcom has always been very expert about making the game what it is and improving it and moving it along the way.
Yeah.
So the only thing I would want to say would be, if they actually reduced input delay and did the adequate adjustments, like making overheads faster and such, because obviously you have an easier time reacting now.
Yeah.
If they reduced input delay exclusively to make footsies better, make neutral better, to make stuff that's not meant to be a mix-up more reactable, I would not resist that change at all. However,
I mean, no one would resist that change. That would just straight up make the game better.
Yeah. I thought about it for a while. I was like, I don't like it, and now I'm just like, yeah, do it if you want to. You don't have to. Like, the game is good as it is, but it would make the game more interesting in a different way. It would change it up.
Yeah.
So I just trust Capcom with what they're like gonna do.
So that would also be like your one wish would be the reducing of the input delay. Because you can have a selfish wish. My last guess was like bring back Dan.
Honestly, I can't ask Capcom to bring back my old main, because first of all, I'm not sure if I would play him, especially if he was like modeled for SF5.
El Fuerte? No, please don't bring it back, El Fuerte. Don't listen to Raz.
It would be a very selfish wish, and I'm not sure I would even play the character much, because I love Balrog quite a lot.
Season 5 Balrog is so cool.
I don't have like any real ambition to switch. So why would I ask for another character, even a character I played in the past, if I just want to play this one?
I mean, there's like a lot of stuff you can wish for, right? I mean, you could also wish for, let's see, a certain outfit, a certain skin for Balrog. You could wish for a special super or ultra or anything, like something that you ever thought like, oh yeah, that would be cool. But it makes sense, right? If you're like okay with the game and your character as it is at the moment, then it makes sense that you wouldn't wish for anything. I would just wish for Sakura.
In that case, I have a few like possible suggestions for this.
Ooh.
As for Balrog, a new costume would be nice, because let's be honest, there hasn't been new costume for Balrog in a very long time.
I mean, but his standard outfit is pretty fucking dope.
Has a very good explanation in that his standard outfit is one of the best redesigns of an SF4 character in SF5.
It's so good.
It's amazing.
It's the best.
You can't really match up to that easily, so I forgive them for not making a new one sooner. So the second thing would be bring back the Dirty Bull Ultra in some way, shape, or form.
Oh yeah.
Because that was really fun.
I forgot about that one actually. Because I hated Ultra Street Fighter for Balrog. I thought he looked dumb. I thought he was a lamer version of Dudley. Yeah, now I play Balrog in Street Fighter 5. God.
I always thought he was really cool, but I never had the skill to properly play him. And now I do. Great.
Now you do. Yeah, now you definitely do. Okay, to go to the next one. You were saying this earlier already that you played a lot of Mortal Kombat and stuff beforehand. But what was like your history of fighting games? Like, what was your first fighting game? What else did you play?
First fighting game. Well, I am like relatively young in that, I turned 18 this year.
Yeah,
So
you are pretty young.
but I have been playing video games since a pretty young age.
Hmm.
And I've had an older sibling, so I had access to some of the older games. And I would say my first fighting games would probably be Tekken 4
Tekken 4.
and Mortal Kombat. It would either be Tekken 4 or Tekken 5.
Oh, you missed the best
And
Tekken, Tekken 3 by a little bit. Damn it.
yeah, just a bit. And probably it would be Mortal Kombat 4 or 5. Probably 5. No, yeah, 5 because that had Conquest mode, right?
I have no idea. I'm no big fan of NRS games, sadly.
Well, yeah, it was partly like Mortal Kombat 4 to 6, somewhere along that line was also one of my first like fighting games. I was a huge Tekken fan, but I was never any good at it, and I've sort of like conceded that I will never be very good at 3D fighting games or any good at all. So I'm just like, okay.
But listen, next
Yeah.
week, or like it's I wanted to say like in 1 week, but this is obviously pre-recorded for everybody listening, so it's a bit earlier than you get it.
Right.
Is gonna be Tekken 7 release. So are we gonna see you there, or did you just give up and be like, nah, fuck it, I'm not playing?
Probably not. I will admit, probably not. I am not good at Tekken. I don't really want to put in the effort. I don't really have many people to play with.
Especially not if
I
you go
don't
back to
know.
Canada.
Yeah, and
I mean, that makes
it's
sense.
like, yeah. Oh yeah, and I already made the questionable. Well, not the questionable. The thing with Mortal Kombat X. I'll just go on a
No,
very
just
small
go
tangent.
on ahead. I would have asked that next, actually.
The thing with Mortal Kombat X is that I only really played that. I played that game, I say half casually, but the thing with that is I have exactly one friend that I played with,
Mm.
and he plays no other fighting games, and he's not huge into video games. But like he has a grasp of like seriously playing fighting games for whatever reason. And so we've sort of developed over the last 2 years or so our two-man meta game. It's like, you can look up or come up with combos, and then from that point on, it's just us figuring out how to use different characters from the cast.
Now, that's pretty
So it's
nice,
like,
though.
if a fighting game community only had 2 members and
That
the
would be-
library of combos, that would be us playing Mortal Kombat
That's
X.
actually like that sounds amazing. That's how I plan about going about Tekken, because it's like 100 moves
Yeah.
per character. I don't care for the entirety of Tekken. I'm just gonna learn my part of it. So, do you still play Mortal Kombat? Is that like the only other fighting game you play at the moment next to Street Fighter?
I still kind of play Mortal Kombat X, yeah, with the same friend, obviously. But I've made last week or was that maybe the week before? Yeah, 19th, so last week. The sort of questionable choice of buying Injustice 2.
Oh, I mean, like, as far as fighting games go at the moment, I think Injustice 2 delivers a really good experience, even if you don't enjoy the online, because it has so much solo player content. I don't own it because, like I said, I don't like NRS games too much. I just don't like how they play. But
Yeah.
from what I've seen, it seems to be worth the money.
The thing is, I bought that game with the exact same premise that I played Mortal Kombat X, to just play that with that one person. And so far, it's been kind of a mixed bag, because for him, he hasn't really seriously played anything else but Mortal Kombat X.
Mm.
And for me, it's just like, I have Street Fighter to compare to, I have the last 2 Mortal Kombats to compare to. That game is different, has things I have serious issues with, and it costs a lot of money, which is also part of the reason why I'm not buying Tekken.
It's kind of like you already. Yeah, I mean, I have the same problem. I want to buy so many fighting games that I'm PC player, so I want to buy King of Fighters 14. I want to buy Revelator 2, but I decided on Tekken now, and now I'm spent. So fuck this. Basically, have the same problem. Okay, and I think that was everything I wanted to ask you. And that was also pretty much all the time we actually had to answer all the questions.
Right.
So, do you want to give any shoutouts to anyone, anything.
Let me think. Yeah, I'd like to give shout outs to just the general R Street Fighter and NCH community.
Yay, NCH.
I wanna shout out my friends at the Balrog Discord, which I also recommend everyone listening and looking to get better at the matchup or at Balrog to join. I am always there.
I'm gonna do that.
I am the all-seeing guy. I see everything that goes on in there. But we also have like 8 super diamond players and like more than 10 just diamond players who lurk around and will answer your questions if you ask them. We have tech, we have discussions and whatnot. It's a really good place to improve yourself. And what else? Oh yeah, and that would also leave the Russian Street Fighter 5 Discord, which I'd like to give another shout out to.
Oh, you guys have your own Discord. The Germans have one too.
Yeah, it is the hub for the Russian FGC pretty much. I'd like to give them a shout out. And you know, if perchance anyone from Russia or from near Russia, I suppose, is
I mean, near Russia is a pretty big area of the world.
well, it would be, you know, Eastern Europe, Eastern Slavic countries. If anyone's listening and sort of is interested in interacting with that community, maybe look into joining that as well. So
yeah, no, sure. I'm gonna put a link to the Discord in the video description below.
Thank you very much. I'd also like to, if you would allow me, plug my Twitch and Twitter.
Dude, plug your Twitch as much as you want. Even I'm watching it, like, as much as I can, cause, you know, when I got time. But I'm gonna put this right in the video description as well, and I highly recommend you guys watch it.
Yeah.
Cause that's a fun stream.
Yeah, I just stream myself playing ranked as Balrog mostly. I play sets with viewers. Like, you know, if you're in Europe and you'd like to play some sets, just catch my stream and ask me, and I'll be glad to coach you or whatnot, or just play some sets with you.
Actually, how long are you still in Russia?
I'll be in Russia until the end of summer, so you know.
Okay, that's perfect.
Time.
I'm gonna pick you up on that real big. Some training
Wonderful.
for my local next month. Oh. Okay, then I thank you a billion times for being here. I hope you have a nice evening.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure being with you.
Ciao.